learning a new programming language, you must actually start from literals. Right? You must actually start from literals. What is this? And then where we actually study this in school. Okay, if you take our school environment, yeah, from standard 1 until standard 6, all our mathematics were purely based on numbers. They will actually ask you, if you are going to buy a television, and then the television price is so much. And then let's assume you are actually going to buy 5 television. What is the price of 5 television? Then they teach us arithmetic operators. So you know that number 5 and the amount of the TV, they all are actually literals. Literals are actually nothing but, they are nothing but values. Right? They are nothing but values. So look at this, yeah. I want to ask a question to the computer. Where are you going? We know computer never go to school. Computer will not respond to this question. So if you want the computer to say shopping, then you must give an instruction to him, say shopping. So look at this, yeah. I'm going to make the computer to say shopping. Right? Okay. This is like, small kid, definitely you got kids at home, babies. So what we do, we want the babies to talk, so we will train them. So we will sit in front of them, and then we always say shopping, shopping, shopping. Suddenly one day the baby will say shopping. Then we all laugh, right? It's exactly same. So you cannot expect the baby to outright come and say shopping. So you must train them so they listen and then they talk. Same thing here. So we must make the computer to say shopping. In Python, we have a function or a built-in, we have a built-in function called print. Using this function, we can make our computer to say some things. So how do we execute or call a function? Okay, we call the function by mentioning the function name and followed by open parenthesis and close parenthesis. Between these open parenthesis, close parenthesis, you can pass literals. Okay, right? So we want to make the computer to answer our question, which is where are you going? So we will say print, open bracket, close bracket. And then in between, we will say shopping. Why the word shopping is enclosed with the double quote? I will answer your question, yeah? Here, shopping is string literals. Shopping is string literal. What is a string literal? A value created using alphabets. Created using alphabets. String literals are always enclosed with the double quote. As I said earlier, wait first, I will explain why a bit later, yeah? But for now, please remember all string literals. That means if you answer a question and if that answer happens to be an English word, then that is actually string literal. And that string literal is supposed to be enclosed with double quote. So now we have actually we managed to write one simple Python code. Why all these lines are prefixed with the hashtag? Because we are telling computer they are not the program. They are not code. They are not code. So don't execute them. They are notes for me. They are comments for me. So we are telling computer not to execute them. But this line do not have a hashtag. So we are telling computer execute this. So when I run this, you can actually see the output comes out and you can actually see the word shopping gets printed. So now the computer is saying something to you and we actually can see what the computer is actually saying. Right? Now, let's ask one more question. What are you going to buy? Okay, again, yeah, we want the computer to say television. So what we do, we will say print, double quote, television. So if you run it now, you can see television gets printed. Okay, right? So now we know how to make the computer to say something in Python. So in Python, we have a built-in function called print. And to call a function or execute a function, after the function name, you have to put open bracket, close bracket. So that's the sign, we are actually telling Python, please execute this function. And when we are executing the function, we are actually passing a value and that value actually gets printed. Again, here, television is also a string literal. Okay, the next question, yeah? We want to ask the computer, oh, okay, you're going to buy television. Good. How many are you going to buy? And we want the computer, again, yeah, we want the computer to say 10. So you will say print 10. 10 is integer literal. What is that? Number without decimal values are called integers in computer science. All right? Now, integer literal are not enclosed with double quote. Okay, when I run it, I can see 10 gets printed. Okay, the next question that what we want to ask is, do you know the price of a television? And we want the computer to say 1455.25. So we say print 1455.25. So 1455.25 is a float literal number with decimal. Right? So this is also number, but the number is with decimal, yeah, is with the decimal. So it is actually called floats, yeah, floats. Again, float literals are not enclosed with the double quote. Okay. When I run it, I actually can see 1455.25. So one last question. Are you sure the shop has television? We want the computer to say yes. However, in Python, equivalent to S is true. So we can say print true. Okay, look at this. True is an English word. If it is an English word, then it must be enclosed with double quote. Why true is not enclosed with the double quote? Okay. In Python, there are two words here, true and false. In Python, there are two words, true and false. Are keywords in Python. Meaning, yeah. By default, the language Python knows these two words. So they are not string literals, they are Boolean literals. Right? Yeah, so somehow, we managed to complete, the primitive data types here, the primitive data types. Right? Yes, you are right. We have two words here, true and false. They are keywords in Python. Yeah, they are keywords in Python. Okay, when I run it, now I actually can see true gets printed. All right. Okay. As I said earlier, okay, now how Python assign 1455.25 assign, or how Python assign as float literal. How Python treats 1455.25 as float literal. Okay. Again, in Python, we have another built-in function called type. This function will take a literal as an argument and return the data type of the literal. So example, type of 1455.55, right? And this is float literal. So this function will take a literal as an argument and it will return the data type of the literal. However, if we want to know what is the data type assigned to this particular literal, then we must print them. So we will pass this return value to a print function. So I will say print, open bracket, close bracket, open bracket, close bracket. So earlier we see how to pass a literal to the print function. Now again we are passing a literal. We are actually passing a literal, but we are calling a function and passing a literal to the function, and that function returns the literal, and that literal is again passed as an argument to the print function. I will write it here very clearly. We are passing 1455.55 as an argument to type function. Okay. Type function returns float. Right? Returns float. We pass float as an argument to print function so that it gets printed and we can see it. So look at this, yeah? I run this, then I actually can see it says class float. Okay, forget about the class part, yeah? For now, please forget about the class part. So it actually says float. So meaning, yeah, remark, yeah, remark. Without we mention the data type of the literal, Python dynamically assign the data type to the literal. That is why Python is called dynamically typed programming language. Okay, right? Dynamically typed programming language. Okay. So now our answers are single word or a single number. So we able to pass them to the print function, and then the print function is able to print the value. Now, how about, okay, the computer goes to shopping. This time, computer buys many fruits such as apple, orange, mango, banana, and grapes. How can we make the computer to say this to us? Okay. We can take all the literals and place them inside a box like this. And then we can pass the box to the print function instead of sending the values one by one. You can pass multiple values to the print function. Look at this here. You can actually say print, and then I put square bracket. And inside the square bracket, I put apple, orange, mango, banana, and grapes. So when I run this, then it prints all the values. Look at that. The values are separated by comma and enclosed within the square bracket. But did you see one more difference? The words are supposed to be inside a double quote. However, the output comes out with single quote, yeah? Right? There will be single quote. Right? So meaning, yeah, in Python, the words are enclosed with either double quote or a single quote. In Python, yeah, in Python, the string literals are enclosed with either double quote or single quote. So in this case, the fruits are actually enclosed with a single quote, and they are actually placed inside the square bracket, which is actually the box, yeah, box. What is this actually called? Because we know a string literal, we know integer literal, we know float literal, we know Boolean literal, and what is this actually called? So this is actually called list literals. Yeah, we can say list literals. So you actually can try this. Print for the type function. I am passing the box apple, orange, and mango. When I do that, it says it is actually a list. Okay, right? It says it's actually a list. So whenever you want to carry more than, or whenever you want to assign, more than one value or treat more than one value together, you can put all the items inside the box and you can treat that as one item. Look, yeah. Okay. Is this the only way that we actually can group the items? No, there are a few other ways. The second way is instead of placing multiple values inside square bracket, you can group them inside a round bracket like this. So look at this here, print, okay, and then I put the round bracket, and inside the round bracket, I say Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, right? So when I actually run this, you can see the values gets printed. The values are enclosed with a round bracket. Okay. In Python, if the values are enclosed, inside a round bracket, it is called tuple. So you can imagine, yeah, if you are a new, you actually can imagine, like whenever we go for shopping, we buy things, and then after we buy things, either you put all your things inside a box and then you bring back home, or you might put that inside a bag and you come back, right? So similarly, in Python, you can actually put your multiple values inside a box or inside the square bracket or inside the round bracket. So you actually can imagine, like carrying things, either using a box or using a bag. So look at this. I can do the same thing here. Print type of, and then I pass Malaysia, Singapore, and maybe Thailand. And when I run this, it says it is actually a tuple. So earlier it says it's actually a list literal. Now it says it is actually a tuple literal. Yeah, tuple literal. Okay. So we will actually study the indexing a bit later. Yeah, we will actually study indexing a bit later, because we have to study something called variables, and then only we actually can learn something called indexing and the selection. But anyway, this is list and this is tuple. Okay, that's one more. Okay, sometimes you may have multiple duplicated values. If you want the duplicates to be deleted, then you can place the values inside a set, right? Which is curly bracket. So you can say print curly bracket Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia. In Python, if the values enclosed inside the curly bracket, it is actually called set. So again, we're going to try that. So the values are placed inside the curly bracket. Right? Okay, if I, again, pass this to the type function, and then when I run it, I actually can see it says the values are in set. Remember I said, it will actually remove the duplicates. Right? So we're going to try that now. So I'm going to put here, go up here, and then I'm going to put here one more comma, and I'm going to put Malaysia. And in fact, maybe in between also, I want to put Malaysia. And if I run this, look at this. Even though I have 3 Malaysia here, but only one Malaysia gets printed. Not all Malaysias actually get printed. Yeah, only one Malaysia. So that means the duplicates are actually removed, are deleted from the set. And that's the beautiful thing about the set. Yeah, about the set. We learn, under the literals. Yeah, under the literals, we learned quite a lot of things just now. Literals. We have 2 categories there. We actually have 2 big categories. One is to represent single items, and another one is to represent multiple items. So this is single items, And the other one is a multiple items. We also call it as a sequence. We also call them as sequence. Okay. The single item is actually, we have integer string, we have integer, we have float, and we have Boolean, right? So these are the things that we learn, yeah? So string, okay, and then we learn integer, and then we learn float, and we also learn Boolean. We also learn something called Boolean. Okay, when we talk about multiple items, then we have list, we have tuple, and we have set. Of course, there is one more which is actually called a dictionary. I don't want to talk about that now. We can talk about it a bit later, yeah? Okay. However, we know list, which actually uses the square bracket. And then the next thing that we know is a tuple, which actually use the round bracket. You remember, right? The round bracket, we use it for calling a function also. So don't get confused, yeah? Okay, and then set is using curly bracket. Okay? And so far, we learn two built-in functions. Built-in functions. One is print function, and another one is type function. Yeah, type function. So print, open bracket, close bracket, and you can pass arguments. Okay, and here is a type, and you can pass arguments also. Okay, and don't forget, we also learn two keywords. Yeah, two keywords. Okay, one is a true and another one is false. Hope everybody can remember whatever that we discussed just now, yeah? Right? True or false. So the main thing that we understand here is the data type is dynamically assigned to the literals by Python, yeah? That's something that we really need to remember, yeah? That's something we really need to remember. So these are the things that we learn in this particular classroom, yeah? Just now. Okay, I want to copy this and then I want to go up here and I will paste the diagram so that everybody can see it, yeah? Okay, so this is all about literals. Okay, guys, I got a quiz for you. Okay. That's one beautiful question here. Okay, when I actually run it, if I create a list, and then in the list, if I have apple, orange, mango, banana, grapes, then it comes out apple, orange, mango, banana, grapes. Similarly, when it's a tuple, if I say Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, then you actually can see Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia comes out beautifully. Right? Exact order, yeah? Order. It's in the same order, in the order that which we created. It is in the order which we created. But when it comes to set, the order, because our friend set is not indexed. We will study this in detail a bit later, yeah? But for now, please remember this. Set is not indexed. Set is not indexed. Since it is not indexed, the order of the elements are not same as the order it was created. So that is why you actually can see Singapore comes out first. Technically, Malaysia is supposed to come out, then Singapore is supposed to come out. Maybe, yeah, you are right. Malaysia is already printed, so it's a dropped duplicate. So it dropped, then it's supposed to print Thailand. But somehow, look at it, the order is totally different from the order which we actually created. Yeah, so it's totally different. So that's the reason why the Malaysia did not come out. Singapore came out first. All right. Yeah, that's a very good observation. Yeah. Yeah, that's really a very good observation. Okay. Set is used for set arithmetic. Remember, in our school time, we study something called Venn diagram. So that is actually set. Right? That is the set arithmetic. So there are a lot of benefit, of using a set. Yeah. Yeah, we will learn that a bit later. Yeah, we will learn that in detail a bit later. But for now, I think related to the list, we are done.